Hello and welcome to Super Switch Headz, the premier Nintendo podcast in all of the internet. My name is Matthew Stoner.
My name is David Howe.
I'm Patrick Nisley.
Robert Traylor.
Hey! Very special guest, Robert Traylor in the house. How you doing, bud? I think this is your third time on the show, right?
I think, yes, it's three-peat.
Three
yes.
for...
Just like the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, hat trick.
You're our first three-peat guest.
For real?
Yeah,
I
for
think
real.
so. You are the preferred guest of the premiere podcast.
I'm honored.
And in this episode of the premier Nintendo podcast in all of the internet, we're talking Pokemon Shield and Pokemon Sword. Well, that's the main idea for this episode. We'll also get into the news. Sonic the Hedgehog released a new trailer. Some Japanese companies involved in a Smash tournament, as well as some Game Awards nominees that came out most recently. Before we get started, how are y'all doing?
Pretty good.
I'm
I'm worn down from watching 10 hours of impeachment hearings
So long,
on YouTube. Yeah, I just had it on at work all day, and my head is spinning. So if I get overly political, that's why today.
I'm ready. I also just finished watching it.
Yeah.
But it's still happening right now.
It's still happening as we're it was like happening like as I woke up, and it's happening now as we're recording the podcast at like 8 at night. So,
But it's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to watch the highlights.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. What are you guys doing over there?
I should just have watched Colbert talk about it, I guess.
No.
It's a modern era. You can
That's
just hop on
after.
Twitter
You
and
watch that after to
That's
like
true.
laugh about it.
How are you guys?
just fine.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm overwhelmed with the amount of content because like right now it's right before the holidays. There's Disney Plus just launched.
Yeah.
There's new television shows, new series, new movies, new games. There's so much stuff.
Yeah.
It's true.
And I've been playing two games.
Yeah. Have you been watching The Mandalorian?
No, not yet.
It's good, man.
But I already know everything.
Oh, man.
All the spoilers.
A lot to go over.
Yeah.
Babies.
Well, last week we talked about what characters might be joining Smash Ultimate, and we had several listeners give their hopes, dreams / takes on that. And real quickly, I'll go through this. Stephen Flores said Kamek, Crash, Lara Croft, Knuckles, or CJ from San Andreas.
Great idea.
CJ would be so funny.
I would love to see any Rockstar representation.
Yeah.
Daniel Murphy said Captain Toad or Toadette. Austin Young said Sword and Shield Pokemon Trainer with the new starters. Isaac from Golden Sun, Skull Kid, and Edelgard. Lee Housen said just more Final Fantasy VII characters.
So selfish.
Chris Medina said Crash and Spiro.
Spiro the Dragon.
So some of the ones we talked about, and
That was
also
a really fun
some
episode.
new ones as well that we didn't talk about there. Also, I as I was listening to the last week's episode, I have a correction / apology to everybody. I said that Nintendo said that the post Fighters Pass characters will come without a stage, and I said that, and y'all were all like, "Really?" And then I was like, "Man, while I'm listening to this, I looked it up." I don't know where I got that idea in my head.
Oh, thank God.
I like rewatched the September Direct which is the only time they've talked about where they're adding new characters, and that's not something they said. So I don't know if that was speculation on my part that just got into my brain as truth, or like I read that somewhere else where somebody was like, maybe that's what they'll do.
Well,
so
thank you very much.
We don't know.
Thank you very much, Patrick. It takes a very big man to admit when he's wrong.
I am a very big
Cheers to
Yeah,
you.
very
This
big
is
man.
Thank you for
honest
that fake
reporting.
news.
Yeah, this is good, honest. That's what's going to get us the Pulitzer.
Well, I was like, I don't know where I got that from. Could be true though, and if it is, I said it first.
Hell yeah. If it's not true, which it probably isn't, then you're a good guy. And if it is true, then that's breaking news, baby.
So breaking news. Let's get into the news. They put out a trailer for the redesigned Sonic the Hedgehog, and so we've all seen this. And how do we feel about the redesign?
It's great.
Love it.
Much better.
Yeah.
Looks
It
like
was
Sonic the Hedgehog.
There you go.
Much better. And also, I think this was a better trailer.
Yeah, I was also going to
Like,
say that.
I'm like,
yeah.
this is the trailer they should have led with.
Well, because everybody last time was like, well, at least Jim Carrey's like doing his Jim Carrey thing. And even in the last trailer, I was like, I don't know, this just doesn't seem very funny. But in this trailer, Jim Carrey's like flailing his body around. I was like, now that's Jim Carrey doing
And
his Jim Carrey thing.
Sonic also just seemed more, they just focused on Sonic a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. He's got a personality. You know what I mean?
I was
we got to see.
I was just looking at the visuals. Like, what does he look like? And I was like, it's pretty perfect. That's I didn't even I need to probably rewatch it because I was just looking at Sonic and all the things. I wasn't even listening to what he was saying.
That's the redesign is so much better. Yeah. And there was some rumors going around on the internet that the redesign cost like $35 million or something like that. But then somebody said, and all of this is anonymous sources or whatever, so it may not be true, that is actually more like 5 million.
35.
So just $5 million.
35 sounds more right, though. You know what I mean?
The argument by the 5 million was that a lot of the visual effects weren't completely done yet. They had just finished, like mostly just the trailer was completely done, and so they didn't. I don't know. We'll see.
If it is 5 million, then I feel bad for those VFX artists. It's not that much.
A buddy Derek and I were speculating. I love conspiracy theories that don't matter.
Yeah.
And one of the conspiracy theories about this trailer is that they purposefully made the trailer shitty to get the Twitter sphere talking about it.
Yeah.
To get people reminded that, oh, there's a Sonic the Hedgehog movie coming out.
Yeah.
And then now it looks great.
Now it looks
and
great.
everybody wants to see it now.
Yeah.
And they hadn't finished the
Really,
visual effects.
I honestly don't want to see it. I think it just looks better, but I'm like, I still don't. Like I said, I didn't listen to what he was saying because I don't care. When I watched it the first time, I was like, it looks shitty. And it still looks shitty, but
unfortunately, I don't think that's how Hollywood works. I don't think anybody's thinking that far in advance.
I don't think so either, but it's fun to think about.
But yeah, it looks better. I will be going opening night in my Sonic costume.
I think we'll make an event of that.
Yeah, and the Sonic Mania artist.
Yes,
helped with
that's
the redesign,
right.
which
That's
is
right.
pretty cool.
One of the artists that was involved in Sonic Mania helped with the redesign. So they should just get those people on board from the
to
start
make an anime
of everything.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So Nintendo Switch Lite got its like official flip cover was released, I think today, the day we're recording this, or at least it was announced or what have you. Is Sasha going to get this?
No, she already has a case.
Okay. Is it? But
she does not need that.
Does it flip real cool?
I mean, it flips. I don't know how cool it flips, but that thing does look sexy, though.
It does kind of.
Do you have a picture of it?
Sure. I'll show you a picture of it.
It's official Nintendo. And then the last time that I looked on Nintendo's website, it was all sold out. Because like tons of like The Verge, Polygon, and like Engadget said like, oh, if you're going to get a case for your Nintendo Switch Lite, this is the one to get.
Yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't want something dangling off my Switch as I'm using it. You know what I mean? I like the idea of it, and it's definitely like thin. It's been out in Japan for a while. People say it's really good, but yeah.
But now it's here.
Yeah, but
You don't
something
like
to cover the
dangles.
screen that's not so bulky.
Yeah, it's kind of thin. It's not like gonna like maybe stop it from cracking if you drop it the wrong way.
Is that only for the light?
It's only for the light.
Oh,
yeah. See, you know what? I like that. You know what? I've changed my mind. I like that case so much. I'm going to go get a Switch Lite so I can use it.
No. I just flipped off the iPad.
Totally fine. I think it can handle it. Nintendo is going to trial in Europe the European like consumer protection. When you pre-order, I'm like backing up 5 times here. When you pre-order a game from Nintendo, you download it onto your system, and they won't refund you the money if you change your mind and cancel you can't cancel a pre-order.
Right, and that's at odds with some European laws.
That's at odds with some European laws, and so there's been a case in Europe, and it apparently the trial has reportedly begun. So we don't know what will happen. The article I read said that we'll probably hear something by the end of the year in terms of what happens there. I will be curious to see what happens because it seems like you should be able to cancel a pre-order.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd be interested to see what happens mainly because if they change their policy for Europe, then they might just
they're going to have to do it globally.
Globally,
right?
yeah.
Because how are they going to? I mean, I guess they don't have to, but
it'd start a shitstorm.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. This is kind of a funny news story. There's not really much here, but like there's some sort of Smash tournament in Japan where like a bunch of companies are going to have representatives at it. And the sort of funny news out of this, I guess, is that Sony is one of the companies that's involved in this Smash tournament. And so everybody was like, oh, that means a Sony rep is coming to Smash.
My God.
It sounds like something I just watched on Netflix recently.
But
like
sounds like a very specific show.
The concept of companies like fighting it out, but with like people know like they have like fighters that fight for the company.
That sounds like a Black Mirror episode or something.
No, I was just like, that sounds like something I just watched, and it's a great idea. Go for it.
As somebody pointed out somewhere, if this means a Sony rep's coming, it also means like somebody from the Japanese patent office is going to be in Smash, because like the companies are not gaming companies. A lot of them are just random.
This is just to bet shit tons of money. Like,
Patent Officer Kiwashima joins the battle.
I love that guy. He's a great guy.
Pop culture icon.
So I guess there is a new Dragon Ball Z game coming, Kakarot.
Hell yeah, there is.
It looks really good.
But they've never announced whether or not it was coming to the Switch until this week, when they said it's not going to come to the Nintendo Switch.
oh no.
So are you sad about that, y'all? Were y'all no, because you can just play it on your PlayStation if you really want to.
I'm gonna play it on. It's coming out for PC, so I'll probably play it on PC so I can get some mods, baby.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm excited for this game in general because I love Dragon Ball Z.
It's like a total retelling of the Dragon Ball Z story, right?
Yeah.
It looks awesome.
I love Dragon Ball Z. I don't like its games. So I just
You don't like any Dragon Ball Z games?
I write off their games pretty much entirely. I played some Fighter Z and was like, "Oh, this is fun." And then like an hour went by, and I was like, "Man, I'm done."
That was kind of my experience with fighters as well.
So yeah, I just at this point.
But this isn't a fighting game, right? This is like more of an RPG.
It's an action RPG.
RPG.
All anime games, it's just
Not
get
you.
ready for the letdown.
Oh, you mean like based on an anime?
Yeah,
I think that's kind of like true of a lot of games based on non-original game properties. Kind of mediocre.
Like I absolutely
with a few
love
outliers.
One Piece, and they came out with this game that was supposed to be like wonderful, and I think I played some of it, or I played like a demo or something, and I was like, now that I'm playing it's terrible.
Tell that to Batman Arkham Asylum.
Oh yeah.
Notable exceptions.
I think that there's like 3
Batman,
exceptions.
Spider-Man.
The Lord of the Rings games were amazing with the PlayStation 2.
I love those games.
Yeah, those
Two
games
Towers
are
my
cool.
shit.
There's some outliers.
Yeah, a few, but
often the
it's
license
like,
itself takes the money or whatever.
I wait for the reviews on any anime game because just
that's fair.
There's just a level of who cares when they're making it. I think they're just like
So moving on, Sabi, who is a leaker who leaks a lot of Nintendo news among other things for video games, said that according to I think Sabi is a her. I could be wrong about this. One of her, or if I'm wrong, sorry. One of their sources. God, I just should always use they.
Yeah.
Always use they.
That's what I usually do.
One of their sources said that Breath of the Wild 2 is supposed to release next year, but with some caveat that lots of Zelda games always get delayed. So that's like, well, that's not much of
I think it's just that Nintendo internally is targeting a winter 2020 release.
Yeah.
Or a holiday season 2020 release, which is what we've all been saying on this podcast since basically
all
since
right.
we heard about it.
We're all right.
yeah. Breath of the Wild 2 day one buy. Like,
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Not even gonna front. That,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That having been said, though, what this does is actually make me think that it's not coming out 2020 because like Sabi's right. Like every 3D Zelda game has been delayed. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, like I remember Breath of the Wild was supposed to come out like 3 years before it came out. You know what I mean? Like Twilight Princess was heavily delayed. That's why these games are like cross-platform. You know what I mean? Cross-generational. So it's like, if anything, I think this means that we'll be seeing it 2021 if they're aiming for 2020. But time will tell. Like we said, development's going to be way faster for this than it was for the original Breath of the Wild.
I imagine it would sell well regardless of when it releases, but I could see them wanting to get it out for
I would love to play
holiday.
it holiday 2020.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So we talked about Game Awards nominees came out today, and there were a lot of Nintendo games in various categories, and in particular, Smash Ultimate is up for Game of the Year at the Game Awards.
A lot of people didn't think that was possible because the game came out like the day after the Game Awards last year.
Right.
And so they were like, it's not even a 2019 game. Like, is it even going to be eligible? But it totally
The Game
is.
Awards is like from mid-November-ish to mid-November-ish is what
You shouldn't be cut off because you're in some magical, like, no, if we do the Game Awards and your game wasn't eligible for this one, you're eligible for the next year.
Yeah. And that is what they're doing. So that's good. Yeah.
I know the hype's gone, but
Yeah. Not for me,
No,
but yeah,
definitely not.
for the broader
I
audience.
feel like you're playing Smash now more than ever.
It's true.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with it now.
Yeah.
Can we also talk about Nintendo sweeping the
Yes,
Family Game
we will.
Awards?
Let's start with that. So yeah, the Family Game of the Year. That's the entire category is Nintendo games. Luigi's Mansion 3, Ring Fit Adventure, Smash Ultimate again, Super Mario Maker 2, and Yoshi are the games nominated for Family Game of the Year.
Very surprised to not see Pantsu Hunter in that game.
Exactly. Yeah, no, Nintendo
Switch
is the only.
exclusive.
Yeah, the only people that go family oriented. Like PS3 and Xbox, they like abandoned that long ago. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are all great games. I've played all but Ring Fit, I guess. But I could see. I feel like Luigi's Mansion should win that personally.
Yeah,
Though my
it should
kid
be
also-
like Yoshi.
Also, yeah, Yoshi wasn't that great. Mario Maker 2 is really great, but I just feel like, for reasons we will discuss later, Luigi's Mansion 3 is a really great family game.
Yeah.
Also nominated in various different categories of Nintendo games was Astral Chain, The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening remake,
I was nominated twice. Yeah.
Tetris 99.
That, I was very happy and excited to see it nominated for Best Multiplayer Game. I was like, that is really cool.
David is glowing right now.
I love Tetris 99.
Cadence of Hyrule got a nod in the Gaming Music Award.
Yeah.
And Fire Emblem Three Houses got a nomination.
I
as
was
well.
surprised that Fire Emblem Three Houses was not nominated for Game of the Year, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. I thought that was going to be the Nintendo game that was nominated.
Yeah, speaking of just Game of the Year, I actually think Smash has a chance because I just don't know that any of those games. It's not like some years there's just amazing games, and I look at that list and I don't have it in front of me, but I can pull it up. It's like Death Stranding, Outer Worlds, Control,
Resident Evil 2.
Resident Evil 2,
Definitely
like
that Goose Game.
That's nominated for Best Indie Game.
Yeah, I
and
know.
It should be
will
Best
win.
Game. I heard
and it's
so much
nominated
about
for
it.
the Subway's Fresh New Indie Developer Award.
You've played most of those
I played,
games.
most of these
Maybe
games
not
with
Resident Evil remake.
Yeah,
but-
not RE2 or Outer Worlds yet. But I'm very surprised.
Oh, and Sekiro is the other one.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, Shadows.
That one might win.
Wait,
That
yeah,
could
I think
win.
Sekiro's going to win.
I think that's probably the
totally
way.
forgot, but that was an amazing game. Just watching people play it, I was like, wow.
I'm most surprised by Control being on Game of the Year.
I'm surprised that Control got like 8 nominations.
Yeah, me
It
too.
just kind of like swept the nomination categories.
Yeah, like I didn't feel like no one was really talking about Control outside of like a week or maybe a couple day window.
Yeah.
Control and Death Stranding are both games with like not huge Metacritic scores that are like nominated for tons of awards. So
Yeah, I watched Jeremy play some Death Stranding, and I was very confused.
yeah, it's a confusing
I
game.
was like, what? Who is Mother?
I can't wait to talk about Death Stranding at the end of this episode.
Oh, hell yeah. One last thing before we move on from the Game Awards, unless you guys have anything else to say. I was just very pleasantly surprised to see Sayonara Wild Hearts nominated for a couple awards. I fucking loved that game. I think it was mobile game, music, and something else, maybe indie game as well. But that's a really great game that you can pick up on the Switch, or if you have Apple Arcade, it's also available on that.
Cool. So now we're going to continue talking about news, but it's going to kind of transition us into Pokemon largely. So sort of the least Pokemon-ish is that Smash is adding some spirits from Pokemon Sword and Shield, some Galar region spirits. So that's cool, I guess. If you like collecting spirits in Smash, which we talked about before this, none of us really do. But somebody out there does.
Yeah.
Lubu does.
It's an option for you.
Remember when Lubu was on, he like gets every one.
Oh, he's a big spirit head.
So, not surprisingly, Pokemon Sword and Shield has sold really well. What little we know about it, because it just came out last Friday, obviously. But my understanding from in the UK, Pokemon Sword is now the highest selling exclusive of 2019, and that's Pokemon Sword alone. Like,
Yeah.
if
Well,
you
Pokemon Sword alone and for all consoles.
yes, exclusives of 2019,
And that's it having been out for like
5
3 days.
or whatever it was. When
I
that
think when
chart
they
came out.
recorded it was like 2 or 3 days. Yeah.
So that's nuts right
absolutely
there.
bonkers.
And then like also on the chart is Shield, and also on the chart is the combo pack for the. So like you combine all those, and it's doing pretty well.
Yeah. Really interested to see the sales numbers after this week.
I'm really interested
Yeah.
to see like the next Nintendo financial quarterly, like when they update their software sales, where this lands.
It looks like the controversy affected the sales of this game about as much as the controversy affected ticket sales of Joker.
There you go. Yeah. And speaking of the controversy, one thing that happened before the game came out was there was a hashtag that was trending on Twitter and all over the internet. People were saying hashtag Game Freak lied was trending. And that's because somebody allegedly or did get some like downloaded or the like data mined all the models of the Pokemon. And the theory here is that Game Freak representatives said that the reason that they were cutting a bunch of Pokemon is because they were going to redo the models or something like that. I'm not even sure if that's really what they said. There was no official statement to that effect. I think it was just some comments made in interviews and stuff.
As I understand, he was talking almost more about animations than he was about the models themselves.
Right.
They had said previously that they future-proofed the models on purpose for like Pokemon Go and the 3DS games and Future Switch games.
Right. So that and some other things. And so it's very dubious in my mind whether or not they lied. I understand people are upset about these various issues, but that was a big, people were just going nuts on the internet.
Yeah. Did you all read or go into this at all?
Only service level for me.
So there were different like comparisons where they showed like the data mined models of some one of the Pokemon, say like Wooloo. Or I guess one of the existing ones.
Right, right.
Like Charmander.
Sure.
And they would compare the one from Pokemon Sword and Shield versus, Sun or Moon. And they were almost like a 1-to-1 the same model.
Yeah, they're like comparing the wireframes.
Yeah, the wireframes. Thank you. That's the word.
But the thing that everyone's mad about is that they didn't get the national decks.
Right.
You can't catch them all. I remember that, and I was like, oh, that sucks. And then I moved on with my life.
What has been referred to lovingly from the community as Dexit.
Yeah.
Take on Brexit.
Oh my God. Like, impeachment's happening. Like, seriously. Like,
Brexit is.
So many other things are happening right now. I'm like, I will refuse to put any time into that. They should always update it to where you can catch them all, because that's a big. They stress that to catch them all.
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea to patch that in. Game Freak is notoriously known for not ever patching their games, though.
Yeah, and they've been very adamant that that's
but
kind
hey,
of
they're
going,
on a real
going
console
forward.
now. They're on a big boy console. Like this isn't a handheld,
right? And that's what a lot of the criticism is too about the graphics and everything. It's like this isn't good enough. You know, what I mean?
They better patch Town before they patch Pokemon. We've been waiting on quality of life improvements for that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's what we'll get into that more, like whether or not that's a fair criticism.
David,
too.
to your point, patching Town is just like getting rid of everyone's memories of Town.
It's just like shining a turd.
And then speaking of the Dexit, as we lovingly refer to it, there have already been lots of modders who are adding missing Pokemon into their hacked Sword and Shield games or their modded Sword and Shield games. So there you go. I guess if you really want them, you can do that.
Yeah, it's apparently not that hard to do as well. You can you can not only add them in. Well, I mean, it's you have to come up with animations and stuff like that, and you have to like add in moves, which is not possible yet. But apparently now you can add them as their own Pokedex entries. So it's not like it's covering up another Pokemon that already exists. So we could live in a world here in the next month or so where all the Dexited Pokemon are like back into the game, which I think would be pretty humorous.
Yeah.
And also the outraged consumers that probably didn't actually buy the game review bombed it on Metacritic.
That's the least surprising news story of 2019.
So like Pokemon Sword, for example, right at this moment that I'm looking at it, has an 82 like a Metacritic score and a 4.0 user score.
Whoa.
So there's some discrepancy there, right? Like somebody's wrong. And there's lots of like zeros and stuff.
I'm going to say this again. I've said it before. User review scores on sites like Rotten Tomato and Metacritic are completely worthless. They should be removed from the internet and have no place on a website like this, I think.
In theory, it's really cool, right?
But there's no way to police.
But people are shitty.
Yeah. See, Steam is the only place that has a somewhat, I don't know what the word I'm looking for
but even
is.
don't people review bomb stuff on Steam?
Yeah, but in order to leave a review on Steam, you have to have at least an hour of playtime. It like
Gotcha.
measures your playtime. So it's like there at least if you really want to review bomb a game and you really
You
want to
have
shoot
to,
on a
like,
game, you have to pay them for it in
and
the
leave
first
it
place.
up on your computer.
Yeah.
So basically, you need to prove you've watched the movie or show to actually be able to
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like there's no way to do that on IMDb or
Metacritic.
Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic. And so for my
like
money,
it,
I think
though.
they should just get rid of the concept altogether. I think IMDb has already floated that idea about just removing that completely. And I hope they do.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I hate it.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm very passionate about this.
yeah.
That and impeachment.
I didn't even two very important issues going on. Well, I think with that, we'll dig into the game now.
Yeah, let's go into Pokemon segment.
Pokemon.
Here we are. So Pokemon Sword and Shield just came out Friday, November 15th. What'd you guys? Full disclosure, I have not played the game.
I noticed.
I'm just not.
Yeah, I can see it.
I love y'all. I love Pokemon, I guess, in theory, but I don't ever play it.
I don't think you do love Pokemon,
I don't love
Patrick.
Pokemon. Okay. I have no grudge against it or anything. It's just I've never played Pokemon games. I played some Pokemon Go and I played some Pokemon Let's Go, and that was enough for me. And I've got a shitload of games already. So, and I figured y'all would play it.
We have.
So what did you play? Sword or Shield? What'd y'all pick?
I'm pretty sure everyone picked Sword. I tried very hard to pretend I was going to play Shield or pick Shield, and I was like, I want a sword.
Yeah.
Sword. Who buys a shield?
Yeah.
This guy right
unless you already
fucking
have a
here
sword.
buys a
Like,
fucking
You got shield. That's
Yeah.
You
right.
have shield?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, because you gave your girlfriend sword, or
No, because I'm more of a
funny-
shield guy than a sword.
What about
really?
you?
A good
I'm proud of
offense
you. I
is a
really
good-
am.
Robert is basically calling you a cuck right now.
No, I just thought because I remember when
fine.
David bought sword and he bought Sasha's shield.
Oh,
And
That's
I was
right. I did buy both.
I can see a
Yeah.
couple things where you're like, hey, do you want sword? And I'll play shield. I don't care. But then it's like, no, you just straight up bought shield. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I really tried to buy shield. And I was like, I want sword.
I kind of wish I got shield
Well,
now because like everybody got sword.
You started to say
Yeah.
it, right? Like you prefer the more defensive
Yeah, I
characters
just
and
identify
stuff.
with a shield more than a sword.
I think isn't that true that
That's it.
You're a wide boy, not a thin pointy boy.
defense, like
Yeah.
no offense, like attack. Yeah, it's true. I don't play defensive characters like in anything. Like in Smash, it's all attack, speed and attack. I don't like the big characters. I don't like the defensive characters.
That's why I play Palutena, because she's like a distance character, but also
Exactly.
mid-range character.
Yeah, I'm always attack. So yeah, I think it has to do with that. The idea of just carrying around a shield was just like, nah, sword.
totally informal poll of me just looking at everybody that's playing it on my friends list. I feel like there's more shields than swords on my friends list.
There's definitely more swords on my
but
friends
it
list.
seems like sword is the more popular one.
We're recording on a Tuesday. I'm going to load up my friends list. Get some real-time
I
data.
did buy sword. I am about 13 and a half hours into the game right now. I just looked, which is kind of a long time for me for games. I think that's more time than I've put into
That's pretty fast to put
like
in all that
Luigi's
much time,
Mansion, Super Monkey Ball, Ring Fit Adventure, like combined, basically. Yeah. So it's so I'm really enjoying the game so far. And I'm happy that I got sword, but it also doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
You can trade for those exclusives and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I guess there's a few gym leaders and stuff that are unique to them. Is that what it is?
I don't
too?
even think so.
No.
Yeah.
Right now, there's an even split.
And you're
Really?
There are 2 shields
your
and 2
friend list?
swords.
And I thought you meant like
We're just-
worldwide.
no,
I was
no,
like,
yeah.
I thought we already
Worldwide.
established that.
I'm
It was
looking
like
on
sword
the
wins.
internet. No,
Oh,
it's on my
okay.
friends
Totally
list.
anecdotal
I
friends
see.
list.
Interesting.
Well, how about how is the gameplay compared to previous? My understanding, and again, I'm going to be, saying that
You're
a lot.
the moderator of
I'm going to
this.
be moderating, and y'all tell me if this is true or not. That there's some significant quality of life Pokemon improvements to this game. Is that
Yes,
Is that,
I think so. Yeah. So first of all, I thought I would not like EXP share, but I do. I like it a lot.
so? All of your Pokemon.
Well, not for me. The last Pokemon games I played did not have EXP share. I did not play Let's Go. I did not play.
I think it's like
Sun and
forced
Moon.
too, right? Like
Yeah. It just is on by default.
That's what it is.
I don't think you can even turn it off. So it's like, so for me, I think that's great because it's basically, still whatever Pokemon you send out to actually be in battle for the battle gets the lion's share of experience, but everybody else does too. So it's like,
it keeps things more even.
It keeps things more even. And then it also like gives me the opportunity to try more Pokemon without putting a shit ton of time sink into it.
Yeah.
And then, did you have anything to say about EXP share?
No, it's like winning the lottery in Denmark.
I did though. Experience share, it's been there since the beginning, but it was completely different when it first came out.
It would be like an item you would get, right?
You would have to put it on a Pokemon, I believe, and then that Pokemon was fighting, they would share their experience.
Right.
Something like that. Then like the next game, it became its like own item. And then the next game, it got tweaked more. It's just been tweaked more and more every time.
Right.
And I think the last one, it worked the same way, but you could turn it off and on.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly, but I do know it's changed almost every game.
Yeah, and now it's just on all the time. You just get it, and it's just part of the game. You know what I mean? And I think it's like, I thought I would hate it because I liked the idea of like having to work for, whatever Pokemon you connect with and like really level them up. But I also do fucking hate grinding. And so it's like, so this just does away with a lot of that grinding, and it's like, and I love it. And then the other major change from at least the Pokemon games that I've played, and something that I didn't actually think they were going to be doing in this game, is there are essentially no random battles in this game. Like, there are points of tall grass where like if you move really fast in the tall grass, there's like a chance for a random battle, but you never have to do that. You can just like crouch and go slowly through the tall grass and avoid any random battles ever. And you just see all the Pokemon in the overworld. And I love that. I think it's so good because it cuts down on bullshit battles, which is something that helps like when you're having random battles when you need to grind all the time. But when you take that away, you take the reason to have random.
But isn't that Pokemon though? Like, I totally agree that it's better, but half of my memories of playing Pokemon are like
getting
walking
mad?
and then hi Zubat, and like like the 18th Zubat I've seen, but that's kind of Pokemon. I feel I'm a little mixed.
This is like one of those sort of modern RPG discussions, right? Like, RPG design has moved away from random encounters.
Yeah.
And there's people that are like, but that's what makes it an RPG.
Yeah, but that's like being
I don't think that's true anymore.
But that's like, would you stay in a relationship with like an abusive person just because like you're in that relationship with them already?
Yeah.
I think it's an
accustomed
improvement
to this abusive relationship.
But like
Stockholm syndrome with fucking random encounters.
Robert, I'm gonna join your side. I'm gonna defend the random battles. The part that the random battles are good because you get an element of surprise.
Yes.
Because in Pokemon or like Chrono Trigger or any RPG,
Chrono Trigger, I don't know if that didn't really.
That has no random battles.
Yeah, no, you can see all the enemies. Yeah,
that's the point trying to make.
Yeah. There's no element of surprise, but when there's random battles, this could be a rare Pokemon. It could be a common Pokemon. So there's like a few seconds where you're like, fuck, but you're also like, oh,
maybe.
Yeah,
but that is still in the game if you want to do that.
Agreed.
It's like if you want to go through tall grass and be surprised, there's a little exclamation point that pops up. And if you don't run into the one of the Pokemon that are on the overworld, you will get surprised.
And
so it's
also in the wild area, isn't there some surprise about what your big battles will be or whatever?
Whenever you go into the max raid battles, you don't know what the Pokemon's going to be beforehand. Yeah. That is true.
Wait, those big battles.
Yeah.
That's what you do. I'm completely indifferent to those. They're just like.
Well, have you tried one yet?
Yeah, I've done a few of them, and nobody's ever joined my battle. Like I did like let it search, and no one joined, so I just did it, and I think it's just pointless. I don't get. I'm just like, this is like Z moves. I'm like, why? It's just a gimmick, and okay, fine. I don't hate it, so it's just there, and I'll do them if. I don't know. Maybe if that's where they put rare Pokemon, I'll get more into it. But so far,
I think that's the idea because I think there's a lot of Pokemon that you can only catch through max raid battles.
Have you done any, David, online with folks? I know some people on our Discord have been playing online.
I haven't done it with friends yet, but I have done it with some randos, and I did enjoy that.
I know, like Lee and Austin have been all over that on Discord.
And I'm a little like nervous to do it with them because I'm afraid that I'm going to be like not as far as them. But I'm also like 13 hours into the game, so I'm probably on level with them. I should probably just do it.
We should all talk about how far we are.
Yeah. Where are you in the game?
I evolved my starting Pokemon once. If that gives you a hint. I'm at level 16 basically, and I've played as much as possible, but anime has been distracting me.
Yeah.
I think you're further.
But you haven't gotten to a gym yet, though, right?
No. Oh yeah, I'm not even at a gym.
Do you know how many hours you are into the game?
No. If I looked, it would probably be longer than I've actually played because the anime, I'll just leave the game running and I'll just I'll start watching. But I've gotten my starting Pokemon to level 16. Other ones are around like 9 and 10.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. What about you, man?
Less than 2 hours.
I was totally wrong.
So you're still starting out. So you're also not at a gym.
Yeah, I'm not at a gym yet. No, I'm just kind of getting used to the mechanics. I started playing because my girlfriend asked me, it's like, hey, what's the music like? And I was like, oh, I haven't started it yet. So I started playing, and then we kind of played together, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm about 13 and a half hours in. I've beaten 3 gyms at this point.
Nice.
The Leaf Gym is first, then the Water Gym, then the Fire Gym. And
you beat Fire Gym, Water Gym, and Jim Jordan.
Yeah, and Jim Jordan, Republican Jim Jordan. I would love to beat him in a max raid battle. Anyway, that guy sucks. Anyway, really, truly is just inside my brain. I'm having a blast. I think it's a ton of fun. And Sasha has been playing as well. She's been playing her own
how's she like
copy of the game. She's not nearly as far as I am. I don't think that she's at her first gym yet. Sorry to call you out, Sasha. But she's having a blast. And this is her first ever Pokemon game. She's never played one before. So it's like it's been a really kind of like fun bonding experience for us. And we did a battle against each other recently, like a local battle. And that was a blast as well. I'm like a little bit ahead of her, so I like filled my team up with scrubs that like aren't that leveled up or anything. And then she totally kicked my ass. I should have just brought in my power team. But I think with the local battles, you can just set all Pokemon to level 50 or whatever, and just kind of like even it out so it's more fair. But man, I'm having a ton of fun with it, man.
Yeah.
How about the character customization? Do you guys have a lot of fun with that, or is it limited, or what were your thoughts on that? This is the first game. Isn't this the first game where you can pick their hair and all that kind of stuff, or at least the level of detail that they have?
It's like boy or girl, and then it has like 4 different sets.
Oh, it's only 4.
It's like shades.
It's like it's like
I guess it's
pale to black, and it's like maybe like Hispanic and Colombian, and then that's about it. That's all you get.
Gotcha. I thought it was supposed to be better character customization this time.
I mean, there are a lot of shops where you can upgrade your clothing and like what you're wearing. It doesn't give you any stats or anything like that, but it's like, I mean, I whenever I go into a town with clothing options, I like always buy new outfits for my character. I'm like pretty into decking out my character at this point. Well, so basically I didn't name my character David or anything. Like, it's not supposed to be an avatar of me. It's kind of just like a character that I made up. His name is Trenton. And, cause when I was looking at the initial characters, I was like, none of these really look like me. So I picked the one with like white hair, and I've made him like the super hipster, like glasses guy. And I just like made his outfits all hip and stuff like that. But I think the game really kind of encourages you to make your character look cool. Because there are like this new thing where it's league cards, I believe they're called.
I've seen people post those on.
And so they're basically, you can make a trading card of yourself, like as like gym league member or whatever, and you can trade those with people online, and you can, it'll have whatever outfit you're currently in. Whenever you do it, you can make a background. You can give them like, you can change the position of it and give them like a facial expression and a body position to be in, and so it's like that kind of stuff. Really encourages a little bit more customization, and I think they did a good job with that. And it's, that's a great trend in Nintendo games recently, like Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey, and hopefully soon Smash, like has a lot of customization on outfits that you can put your character
Splatoon
in.
For sure.
Yeah, Splatoon, definitely.
How about the graphics in the game? Because I know there's some controversy that this is their first sort of big home console mainline Pokemon game, and do we think it looks good? Do we think it lives up to that, or not?
It looked fine. I was never like, oh my god, it's beautiful, but no, I never was upset with anything I saw or thought it looked bad. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why people are upset. I think it looks fine.
I kind of get why people are upset by the graphics. For the record, I also think it looks good. I think the graphics are I'm happy with the graphics. I think it looks nice and colorful and cleanish. There's a lot of aliasing going on, which is kind of true for every first party Nintendo game, but like I think it looks better on TV than it does in handheld, which is kind of surprising for a Pokemon game. But I get why people are upset though, because it really does just look like up-resed 3DS graphics. You know what I mean?
Is this another David's theory that this game was originally meant to be for 3DS?
No, I don't think so. I think it was just built on the same engine they've been using forever, which was optimized for 3DS. You know what I mean? I think that they knew that this was going to be their first Switch outing, you know, because I think when the Switch was coming out, they were still putting out Sun and Moon. You know what I mean? So it's like, so I think they're just using the same engine and just couldn't be asked to like, you know, make a new engine.
Yeah, I would say that it does feel like this game could just be played on the 3DS.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have had to, it wouldn't have blown up the 3DS. So it's like, what the hell?
Yeah. It's definitely like for like the seminal, like first time this series has been on a home console, like blah, 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 blah. It's pretty underwhelming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that having been said,
it still looks nice.
It still looks nice. And it's still the first time it's on a home console. And I think it looks pretty good on the TV.
Yeah, I think this is a hard question to answer because we've gotten so many really good remakes the past couple of years from Nintendo. And so we have like Breath of the Wild, great. Mario Odyssey, great. Mario Kart 8, even a port is also good.
Oh, that game is so beautiful.
And Luigi's Mansion 3. These are all like sequels and or new games in the franchise that there's, as a gamer, like I want something new and fresh from Pokemon, but at the same time I want something that's similar that I'm used to. And the graphics and the representation and gameplay and all of that is similar, but I also want maybe some of the backlashes. We want something new.
Yeah.
Some kind of elements rather than a gimmick like Dynamaxing or Gigantamaxing.
Or the wild area.
Yeah. It needed some kind of new gameplay while maintaining existing gameplay.
So this is an interesting conversation that I think we should get into. And this is something that I heard kind of discussed on the recent episode of Nintendo Voice Chat, IGN's Nintendo podcast. And they were basically saying that there's a lot of people being like, this game doesn't feel next gen. It doesn't really feel, it feels more iterative than it feels like a kind of new take on Pokemon. But I don't think that I want that out of a Pokemon game. I think that this is something that you were saying earlier, Robert. Yeah. I don't think that it would be Pokemon anymore. I think that if you change the core of what Pokemon is to a certain extent, it stops being Pokemon. And I think though, look at the fucking backlash from every little tiny change they made to this game.
People want big changes to Pokemon, but they don't want any change.
Exactly.
It's a really weird contradiction.
Yeah. And so it's
especially
like,
as somebody who doesn't care one way or the other, I watch people and I'm like, y'all all are, what do you want?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, what do you want?
Yeah. And like to contextualize it too is like Pokemon is like the number one brand in the whole world. Yeah. Like more than Star Wars, more than Hello Kitty. Yeah. As far as like amount of money that it makes from products, from games, from movies, from like toys and stuff, it is the number one.
Yeah.
So of course the voices who love Pokemon are going to be louder because there's fucking more of them.
And that's just the modern internet problem, right? Like every huge franchise has people that quote unquote love it, but just bash the shit out of it.
I think the problem is the original fans that were 10 when it first came out, they're still paying attention and they want things catered to them, but it's like, no, we're still with 10-year-olds. So we'll try to do what we can, but realize we're not making this for you. Yeah. So sorry that you're upset, but
it's interesting too, because like Sasha's playing this, you know, this is her first exposure to the franchise, really. I mean, other than maybe playing Pokemon Go on a friend's phone or something like that. But it's like she was really confused as to why she couldn't control the camera. You know what I mean? Like early on, like whenever you're in the towns, whenever you're not in the wild area, the camera is locked. You know what I mean? It kind of floats around and stuff like that, but you can't control it with the right stick. And then she got into the wild area and she's like, oh yay, I can control the camera. And it's like,
who cares?
But I mean, but that's the kind of the other side of it, right?
It's newer gamers are used to more 3D things.
Right. Yeah. For me, it's like, it's Pokemon. This is how it works.
That's what I meant.
For me, it's like the wild area, being able to move the camera, like that's revolutionary. But for her, starting off and everything locked felt really restrictive. So there's like a big push pull on like where do you iterate and where do you innovate? And it's a really hard line.
And they also just crank these games out. Like, right? Or they're, to some extent, right? Like there's a new Pokemon game every year or two or whatever
like 3
it is.
years.
They have these cycles and then they do the sort of the like ultra ones.
Yeah.
And so there's always these games coming out. And so it's like, when are they going to do these? Yeah. What are they going to change? What are they going to keep the same?
Yeah.
It's really weird.
I kind of think they probably should stick to the formula. I mean, I think it works, and I think it would piss off a lot of people if they changed it too much. But I think these little incremental changes, quality of life stuff that they've done, make it feel really, really fresh to me. Like, honestly, like being able to see all the Pokemon in the overworld is such a huge change for me, and I love that. I mean, that alone makes me love this game so much more.
I didn't like it in Let's Go. I like it a little bit more now. I think the Pokemon they blend more into the grass better. Just, I don't know. I like it a bit more. But then I also like, for just no reason, there's a Pokemon way too strong to your left that's just standing out in the open.
Yeah.
Not coming to you. He's like, no, you're going to come to me.
Yeah.
And it's just like, whoa, why? I'm at level like 8.
Yeah.
And there's like this level
and you
30.
can't even catch them too. It's like you have to like, I think the first badge lets you catch Pokemon up to like level 25. And then the second badge lets you catch Pokemon up to level 30.
I haven't even tried.
So you can't even catch
I just
them.
ran.
It's like, you'll try to throw a Pokeball and it'll be like, nope, no way. This Pokemon's way too strong for that Pokeball. It's not going to get in there. And so it's like, you have to, it gives you more of an opportunity to like experiment and like see what's out there. And then you come back and you feel super strong.
They try to make it more like it would be. If Pokemon were real, there wouldn't just be these level Pokemon in this area. It's like, no, they're going to be strong Pokemon everywhere, and you need to watch out for them.
Yeah.
So, okay,
I think the wild
like
area is really good.
That makes me think of like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where like there's some monsters that can just fucking wreck you right at the beginning.
Yeah,
and
Breath of the Wild as well.
You have to, true.
Yeah.
You have to
I
just
think
avoid them.
like I played Xenoblade so much, like all 3 games in that current franchise. Like I'm with Sasha. Like I tried to control the camera for like less than 5 minutes. Where when I went into a new area, try to control the camera.
Yeah.
When I was exploring, or the camera turned in some capacity to do a dramatic move, I tried to do it because naturally playing Xenoblade so much, I wanted to like look around to see what Pokemon were around or what the next building was, or trying to explore with the camera alone. And it took a little while to adjust. And that's only because, to your point, like I haven't played Pokemon since maybe Sapphire.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just instantly knew when the camera wasn't going to work. And, I didn't even realize that. I think I've played everything up to like 2 of them, but yeah, it's great. I'm still having a hard time keeping up with playing it. I don't feel like I don't have an addiction to it at all. Like there were times in the past, like 20 years ago when I first started playing it, where I could not put it down.
Yeah.
And that's not an issue anymore.
That's kind of where I'm at right now. It's like I'll get tired of playing it and I'm like, okay, I've played enough for right now. And then I put it down, and then just like 25 minutes later, I'm like, I'll pick it back up.
So you are addicted to it?
Yeah. I feel like I've been playing it a lot this weekend, but at the same time, I also feel like I've had a pretty healthy balance.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
What starters did y'all pick?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah, that is a good question. Let's start with you, Matt.
Score Bunny.
You're a Score Bunny boy?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, I wanted to choose Sobble.
Yeah.
Like, because Squirtle's my boy.
Uh-huh.
Or girl. Or it thing.
They.
What's your they, them, non-binary?
Yeah. Whatever gender identity you want to put on a Pokemon, I'm totally cool with.
The game does gender the Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I guess it does. I want to choose Sobble, but then I saw Score Bunny hop around and be like real happy and be like fucking chill, and I was like, "Fuck it."
That's just what you were feeling in the moment.
I was feeling Score Bunny, so I chose Score Bunny.
I went with Grookey. I'm hashtag Grookey Gang. I basically decided this time that I wanted to see all the final evolutions before I made my pick. So I went online and I looked up what the final evolutions were, and I made my decision based on that. And I haven't gotten to the 3rd evolution for Grookey yet, whose name is Raymond in my game. But he's great. I'm not usually a grass type starter, but I really like monkeys and I really like his final evolution. So that's what I went with. What did you go with?
Sobble.
always
Yeah, I was like, no
All
way.
three
Yeah, all three. Yeah,
That's great.
I'm water type for life. Like,
So
every starter I pick will be water type. So I hope it looks great because
Your final evolution is.
I don't want to know. I haven't seen any of them. That's really what's keeping me playing is that I didn't look up any of the final evolutions for anything. And unless the internet,
Hard to avoid.
yeah, all I've seen is that turtle, like that water turtle. I've been seeing that final evolution everywhere.
I've got that dude. His
But-
name is Splash Rendar.
Yeah, but I don't know any of them, so I am very interested. I just evolved my Sobble into that little emo guy that does the bubbles, and okay, I'm feeling him. But I couldn't do Score Bunny. He was too happy. And the internet loves Score Bunny, and usually whoever everyone loves, I don't pick that one.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
that was Charmander back in the day, so Squirtle, but look at Squirtle. He's amazing. Like
Squirtle is my
and
fave.
then what was this?
Squirtle was my first as well.
What was it? Mudkip? That was like the third generation, but
Yeah.
that guy was awesome.
I like
so
Mudkip too.
after Mudkip, I was like, you know what? Just water for every game.
See, I started with water with Squirtle, and then I think most of my starters past that have been fire types.
Yeah.
But yeah, this time I just want to just spice it up a little bit. And I just, I love music, Grookey's like all about like the beat and the rhythm and shit like
Yeah.
that. And so I was just feeling them this time. But I think it's cool that we're all different ones.
Yeah.
So I would kick your ass and you would
Yeah.
kick my ass.
Are there any other Pokemon in the game, like especially new ones that y'all really are digging?
No, just those three.
but like that you've
that I
got
picked
the
up
new, or new generation or anything.
I'm taking only stuff from this new game that I don't know what it is because if I already know what it evolves into, I have no interest. But
Anything
no.
you've come across that you like? Any of the new forms, Galar forms, or anything?
no, none of the Galar ones. What have I?
I've got a couple like old school ones in my party right now, but there are some new ones I really like. I just don't know any of their names because I give nicknames to every single one of them.
That's fair. That's
Oh
fair.
yeah.
Let me see. I'm really enjoying Beware right now. There's like a kind of like fighting bear.
Yeah.
That he's really fun. I actually have I fucking worked pretty hard to get my Magikarp up to a Gyarados right now. I'm pretty proud of that.
Got Gyarados.
I love Gyarados, dude. Gyarados has always been one of my faves. Let me pull up some of my favorite ones because I don't know any of their names. I have one named Beyonce. That's like a queen bee, and I like that one. I don't know what she
Combi?
actually is.
While you're
Or do you have like a Beedrill? What do you have?
No, she's called
Wait, Vespa Queen?
yeah, Vespa Queen.
Damn, you got a Vespa Queen already?
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't know if this will be distracting to you, David, but since you're the furthest along, maybe while you're looking that up, could you tell us like how's the story or like the characters you're coming across in this game?
Are you paying attention to this story?
Yeah,
I am.
Does
okay.
is it intriguing at all, or is it just
Yeah. I think it's a lot of fun. I like there are a ton of characters in the game. It's like I wish that your rival was more of an asshole. It's doing that thing that Game Freak does recently, where your rival's just like a really nice guy.
I don't like that
like
either.
your best friend
I really
almost?
wish he was an asshole. That would be so much more fun. But Yeah.
But all the characters are actually like pretty cool and fleshed out. Like there's this character Marnie who like I think we talked about beforehand. She's got like that like group of like toxic fans called Team Yell that are always around her, and she's like kind of aloof to it, but she's like really cool. You get why everybody likes her, but she's got kind of a cool attitude. There's this dude named I forget what his name is, but he's like a weird psychic emo guy. He's really fun, and then like kind of the main dude who runs the whole gym tournament, his name is Rose, and he's kind of like got this attitude as well. There's just like a lot more characters than just your rival. You know what I mean? And they really flesh out all these characters too, because they give you their trainer cards or whatever. They're like little trading cards for each of them. So you get to like kind of read backstories on them, and it like kind of fits with their personalities.
Cool.
So I'm digging it. And I do think that the British setting for the Galar region really works to its advantage, and they like speak like they're British, like your mom is called Mum, and like it's always like, what's going on, mate? And like he's like, oh, you've got me right chuffed and stuff like that. Like they just speak like they have British accents, and I find that really humorous as well.
Yeah, to take a small side tangent. A previous guest we had Lee as our England representative in Switch Head. He just got a citizenship, so shout out to Lee.
Yeah,
Congratulations,
congrats.
Lee.
Oh.
But he got a citizenship, but the first thing that we talked about was Pokemon. He was like, let me tell you how much this is like based in London or has UK slang. So like Mum and like the post boxes are like, like all of that stuff. So Lee was thrilled that this is like, they really did a great job.
Well, now that he's thrown
making it
his
feel.
British citizenship in the garbage, this is something he can look
He's a
back
dual
at.
citizenship, dude.
Oh, he does.
I was just kidding.
Fuck the fuck the UK.
Throw the tea in the harbor.
Redcoats.
Well, how do y'all feel about the game broadly then? I mean, any of the controversies, or y'all just like, that's all bullshit after playing this? Any other thoughts on the game? Anything you want to comment on before we
could talk about this for forever to discuss expectations of like something that you love so much. My most recent data point to this is like, I love Lord of the Rings, and I've talked about this in a previous episode. And The Hobbit were shitty movies.
They were so bad.
They were terrible movies, but I loved just being in that world again.
Yeah.
The music, seeing Gollum again, seeing all the characters in all of that environment. Despite it being bad, I had a great time. And maybe...
I was so close to. It's almost like
so close.
There's a 4.5 hour
stuff
fan
about
edit of those 3 movies.
There
That's
you
actually
go.
pretty
I
good.
could see that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could see that. It's like some of the stuff. This whole nother conversation.
Yeah. But I only say that is like, this feels like a Pokemon game, and it's. I'm not saying that this game is The Hobbit, because it's way fucking better than that movie ever could be, but it's familiar and new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that this game is better than the Hobbit trilogy. I did not enjoy myself in that world. I was too like I mean I enjoyed the 4.5 hour fan edit,
Yes.
but even that has problems. But like, let's stop talking about the Hobbit. But
It's just a metaphor.
yeah, right. But I can see why people are upset about some things. You know what I mean? And I get the people that have been moving their Pokemon all the way from red and blue to the Pokemon Bank and have been battling with them like competitively for 20 years. I can see them getting a little butthurt about not being able to bring over Blastoise. You know what I mean? Or whoever. Everybody in the world, every Pokemon is at least one person's favorite. You know what I mean? Like somewhere in the world, even like the shit Pokemon that nobody likes, that's somebody's favorite in the world somewhere, because there are a shit ton of people that play Pokemon.
Are we
right?
just going to say a shitty Pokemon right now?
I dare not.
I'm just kidding.
Because it's somebody's favorite.
Yeah. But it's like, that having been said though, you have to judge a game on the merits and the quality of it as a game, and not as what it like represents a lot of times. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you're having fun with it, then I think that's kind of all that matters. And it's like, I find it pretty hard pressed. I think you'd be pretty hard pressed to find somebody who is a Pokemon fan who would not have fun playing this game. You know what I mean? To me, it's the best Pokemon game personally that I've ever played. And that's kind of all I need, you know? So I'm loving it. I get the controversy, but I think maybe just shut up and play Digimon Cyber Sleuth or something.
Which I hear is a great game.
It's a great game. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Eventually, I think I'll start playing it more frequently. Yeah, the controversy. Yeah, I get it. The whole collect them all, but who cares? I just like I said before, I don't care. I'll definitely beat it. I'm sure at some point I'm going to have more time to play it. I definitely want to see what my starter's going to evolve into. I won't look at the picture. If anybody like spoils it for me, I'll hate you forever.
I won't spoil it for you.
All right, cool.
I won't spoil it for you.
Just want to make sure that's known.
The image of this episode will be like,
But anyway, here's what it's called.
Hit the water. Oh no, I want to know.
Yeah, I think we've done a good job remaining spoiler free this episode.
Yeah.
And
are there any other final thoughts before we move on?
no, I mean, Patrick, you should play it.
Wait,
I don't know. We'll
Just
see.
play it.
I might at some point. But.
Just play it,
Yeah,
Patrick.
Just play it, dude.
All right, I'll play
You would
it.
love it. You would love. It's a great game. It's so much better than Let's Go.
I'm sure it is. I was
Yeah.
talking to my cousin about that because he's like, "Well, you've played the 2 worst Pokemon games
Yeah.
ever."
yeah.
But I was like, "But I just don't." But I don't wanna.
I just don't want to.
I've got all these other games. There's so
too-
many
you're
games.
too
Like you were talking
too
about.
cool
There's
for
so
school.
much. There's so much stuff out there. Why? And I already have.
Well, hey, there's not that much stuff out between now and like March.
that's true.
You know,
But I have a lot of games in my backlog. So.
unless you're going to be getting what is it, Tokyo Mirage Sessions?
Okay, that's right. That's the one
encore.
game. Well, cool. Should we move on then?
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on to what we're playing.
The anime I'm being distracted by is Vinland Saga, just so everyone knows. I know you care.
Cool. What other games other than Pokemon Sword or Shield have y'all been playing? Who wants to go first?
I can go first. I've been playing Death Stranding almost nonstop.
Wow.
Ooh. How far does that mean you're into it? Do you know?
That means I think I'm on chapter 8. And it's such a clean game. I don't know. Did any of y'all play Phantom Pain?
No, I did not.
Phantom Pain. It's a great game.
That's Metal Gear Solid 5, right?
That's Metal Gear Solid 5. That's right. But Act 3 in that game is totally incomplete, and it feels incomplete. But the first two are so fucking good. But by the time you get to the third one, it's unpolished, and the stories are very weird. But Death Stranding is so interconnected with the story, the gameplay loop, all of the menu systems is very Kojima, and it's insane. The game is totally insane. It doesn't make sense sometimes, but it's so fun to deliver shit.
Have you met Conan in the game yet?
I didn't know Conan was in it, and I did. Yeah.
Conan O'Brien gives you a otter hat, apparently.
There's also he gives you an otter.
And Jeff Keighley, the host and creator of the Video Game Awards, is also in the game.
Yeah.
Which has caused some controversy as to why it got nominated for so many awards.
I wouldn't have done that.
It's a great Norman Reedus simulator, and I would probably say it's in my top 5 game of the year.
Okay, I was going to ask, do you think it deserves the nom?
Yeah, it totally does.
Yeah.
The online gameplay, if you don't like playing with other people, but you want to take some of the enjoyments from playing online, so you can build all the worlds, the game worlds are connected. So if someone builds a bridge, that bridge will appear in your world.
Right.
And you can leave likes on it. Or
there's a social media aspect to it.
Yeah.
Right?
And if someone abandons a vehicle, in the middle of the snowy mountains, you can hop in that shit, and you can it says the person who left it, and you can start them, and then they get notifications on likes.
And that has story ramifications as well, right? That's kind of built into the kind of lore of the universe, as I understand it.
It breaks the fourth wall multiple times, where the character that you're talking to, this really intense bad guy, will give you likes, talk to you as the player.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's great, and Kojima's a genius, and it's also fucking insane, dude.
Yeah,
it's great. What are you guys playing?
You're pointing at me, so I'll talk. My son and I beat Luigi's Mansion 3 this weekend.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
So that was fun. A couple of anecdotes about that. Number one, I said this on the Facebook group. Great game to play with a younger child. The Guigi mechanic. Guigi can die and just be reborn.
Exactly.
So
it's got regenerating health.
Doesn't matter if he dies. Only Luigi can move the game forward by opening doors. So and it will drag along the other character. So it's that's the kind of stuff for playing with a younger person, where it's almost you're playing and you can be very helpful, but it also doesn't matter if you don't do anything except when you do need Luigi for something.
When we both need to suck at the same time.
And most of the time that's low stress. There are some notable exceptions to that, but where it's I'm juggling both controllers, and then I'm why am I doing this? Just switch it to solo for a minute. It's sorry, but you're not cutting it right now.
Yeah. But, you're too young, kid.
but he really loved it, and this kind of gets to something we were talking about earlier. The game ended, and so I'm gonna have to tell a little bit about having a kid too, right? When young kids take naps, right? But at some point they drop that, and kids need more sleep. But around age 5 or sometimes more or less, they drop taking naps. So my son's kind of on that borderline. He didn't take a nap on Sunday, and we played a lot, and it was his bedtime, and we beat the game right before it, right? And so that's meltdown territory, toddler meltdown territory. So we beat the game, and he's I want to keep playing, and I'm well, we beat the game. You know what I mean?
Skyscraper.
Sorry. But number one, we don't have time. But also, unless we start over, there's no more game, And he's but I want to keep playing. And I was well, we can play another game. He's I don't want to play another game, And I was well, then we don't have to ever play another game. And he's well, I want to play another game. Just totally freaking out about it.
Wow.
And we go to bed, and the next morning he's talking to my wife, and he's if we play it again, we have to start at the beginning. And it clicks for me later that day. every game we've beaten together almost, you can keep playing afterwards.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about new gamers' expectations, like Super Mario Odyssey, Captain Toad, Yoshi. There's more to do after the credits roll.
Yeah,
and there's almost like
post-game
a sandboxy kind of, you can just play forever in those games. And I was like, oh, he doesn't realize that this is a narrative game where
that's it.
There's nothing you can do. Like there's, you know, it's just like I had to like sit down and be like, I figured it out. You know what I mean? Like you thought this, and he's like, oh, okay. It's like, I'm like, man, I thought that was really interesting because it's like what you're talking about with Pokemon. Like Sasha was like, why can't I move the camera? Like your expectations as a gamer now who's new might be that you can keep playing a game after you beat it, but that's not always the case. So anyway.
Well, I mean, you can go back and get like all the stuff you missed.
You have to go. There's no, I don't like spoilers. Like, I don't want to spoil it too much, but you can't beat the game.
You have to like start the game over again.
Yeah, you either have to start over again or like go back to a save that's far back.
So it's like Ocarina of Time or something like that.
And there's reasons why, and I don't want to spoil the game.
Yeah, please don't. I'm not.
But like, so it's like, well, we could go back to an old save point and find gems, but he never liked that part of it. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's nothing to do.
That was
I want
weird.
more ghosts.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, to your point, that was weird is because I played Luigi's Mansion. I beat Luigi's Mansion and I wanted to go play some of the levels again, you know, find that money because I got to collect that money because I love sucking that money. But you can't because all the floors are empty. So you have to go back a few saves.
And it kind of feels weird to do that.
You lose progress.
Yeah. I always felt that way about like Ocarina of Time or Breath of the Wild. It's like, I thought like beating Breath of the Wild, it was like, oh, okay, well now I can just roam freely.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not the case. You always have to have that like big boss at the end waiting for you.
And I get why in sort of a more story-based game, right? Like it would be weird for the world to be the same in Breath of the Wild or whatever.
Right.
Like, but we have kind of reached that point where a lot of games allow that and a lot of people expect there to be.
You should just have him only play Minecraft for the rest of his life. Then he can play that game forever.
What is that game?
It's the #1 game of the decade.
That's fucking true.
I also been playing more Golf Story, and the golf mechanics is really great.
Yeah.
Though there are some serious quality of life problems with
That's
that
a fantastic game. I do want to give a quick shout out to your nice photo album that you posted.
Oh, yeah.
Of you've been taking a photo.
Yes.
Of the credit screen of every game that you and your son have beat together. And that is
Hashtag
just
wholesome
adorable.
ass content.
I take a selfie of me and my kid with every game we beat in front of the credits. I think this was our 6th-ish game of beating it together. And I say together, most of those are me playing most of it, but it's like, I said this on the Facebook post, but it's like my criteria is we played it in the same room. And you know what I mean? Like, and he's fucking great at Luigi's Mansion. There were multiple puzzles where I was like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, well, we should stand over there. And I'm like, oh yeah, we should. You're right.
Yeah.
Damn. Like, you know, how'd you figure that out?
Well,
But
cool.
anyway.
Well, that's great. Well, you should still play Pokemon. Anyway, I have not been playing any other games other than Pokemon.
Wow. This is a first
I
in
know.
Super Switch Headz history.
It really, truly is because I always look through. I mean, I won a Tetris 99 game today at work.
Right.
Some little listeners, thank you for listening. But behind the Abbey Road Studios scene is like right before the segment, David grabs his Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, and like look through it.
Because he's
through
always
his
got
games.
5 or 6
Yeah.
that he mentions, and I've noticed sometimes there's more than that on his play history.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
Okay, I did play Ring Fit Adventure once, and then I also did play Tetris 99 once, but it's mostly been Pokemon.
Wow.
However, that having been said, since I don't want this to be just to be dead air, I want to say 2 great movies that I saw this past weekend. I saw Ford versus Ferrari, which is an excellent film, and I really recommend everybody go see it. It's like a great old school Hollywood movie. You know, it's not like a superhero movie or a sequel or something like that, but it's like a big, like $100 million budget, like period piece about Le Mans. If you like cars or racing at all, it's a great movie. And even if you don't like cars or racing, it's just a great movie.
Support Hollywood making stories that aren't sequels.
Exactly, yeah. And then also, similarly, go see Dr. Sleep if you haven't. If you're a fan of The Shining, I thought Dr. Sleep, talking now about sequels, I think Dr. Sleep is like one of the best sequels I've ever seen to a movie that's like 30 years old or whatever.
Like compared to The Hobbit.
That's a prequel, son. But it's like so often like sequels, you know, like that's a thing now where it's like the you know, like Blade Runner 2049 is another good exception to the rule where that was a really good sequel. But this like somehow tackled being an adaptation of the book Dr. Sleep while also being a sequel to like Stephen King's book version of The Shining. and the movie version of The Shining.
That's pretty cool.
It did a really great job. I really recommend it. I do things other than play video games sometimes. And I've just been watching the impeachment hearing, so that's kind of what it's been a lot. It's been a lot this past week. But man, Pokemon has taken up most of my time. Rob?
What was that Zelda game that just came out?
Link's Awakening?
Yes, that's what I was playing before Pokemon. I played that. I beat it. I had a lot of fun. Great game. I love
It's
Zelda.
a very good game.
Yeah, I just kind of stopped playing my Switch for like a week or two, and then Pokemon came out. So that's what I've been playing.
Had you played the original Link's Awakening?
No. Oh, yeah. I didn't know there was a original Link's Awakening.
Oh, really?
The very first Zelda I ever played was Ocarina of Time.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I didn't know about all those past games until much later, and I don't want to play them now. Oh, no.
Well, didn't you play Link to the Past a little bit on the SNES Online?
Yeah, I was going to say, before Link's Awakening came out, I started playing A Link to the Past on the SNES, and it was like, wow, actually, this is kind of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And then Link's Awakening came out, and I just remembered that it existed at this moment. So I might go back to that.
Yeah,
but,
you should. If you liked Link's Awakening, you'd love Link to the Past.
Yeah. The one thing, my one complaint about Link's Awakening was not explaining to me that there were bomb arrows by just pressing the buttons at the same time. They at no point told me that. And then I beat the game and then was like watching a YouTube video and they were like, yeah, by the way, you have bomb arrows.
Man, that's the worst when you figure out like a super easy mechanic.
Like after you beat it.
a game, you're like,
Yeah.
what?
I think
That's what happened to me with
actually-
Fire Emblem
Yeah.
with Three Houses, because apparently you can move your characters around before you start a battle. And every time I was like, fuck, my characters are all in the wrong position. Oh, well.
Wait, you can do that?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Wait, you just grab them and
I
move
don't
them?
know because I never did it. But Austin, when
my
I told
God.
Austin that, he was like, well, you know, you can move them around. And I was like,
Oh, you just
This is
changed
just like
the
what you're
game.
talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
I was
crazy.
like, I know I don't need everything explained to me, but like,
no, yeah.
awesome things like that, I would love explained to me.
Yeah.
I got hit a bunch of times trying to throw bombs.
Well, hell yeah, that's what we've been playing. I think that's the show.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming
Thanks,
on, Rob.
Thanks,
Thank
Rob.
you so much.
You have a good time?
Yeah. I love talking about Pokemon. I mean, I definitely, when I was younger, I would have talked about it a lot more. I still have love in my heart for it, and that's why I bought Sword, even though I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I love it, and I love being here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we haven't said it yet, but I think Dynamaxing is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
think it's
disagree. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I'm sorry I'm such an asshole. but-
No, you're not an asshole. You just hate gimmicks.
Yeah, I do. I really do.
I
don't think-
love gimmicks.
I like
I
gimmicks
mean,
too.
Mega
Yeah.
Evolutions was a good gimmick. I
Yeah.
like that, but everything else, I don't like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Thanks. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, Rob, do you like tourist traps?
The what?
Do you like tourist traps when you're on a road trip? You see
Yeah.
something really stupid. Would
Yeah.
you ever stop to go see that?
No.
Okay, cool. Because that was a gimmick.
You like the biggest, biggest rubber band ball
my
in the world.
fucking
or
Yeah.
yeah, hell yeah, I do, dude.
And
All
it
that
has to
shit.
be like something I can't imagine without seeing it. If it's something stupid like a big yarn ball, no. But
Can't wait to see that.
Cool. On that note, thanks everybody for listening to this episode. Thanks Corduroy for doing the music. If you want to find us individually online, my name is Patrick, but my handle is PDYX.
Hey, my name is Matthew, and my Twitter handle is Matthew MATHYOU.
My name is Bernardo, but I go by David, and you can find me online at Monolith Fiji. What about you, Rob?
I am Robert. What did I give last time? Like Facebook or Instagram? Sublime Line.
Sublime Line.
Line.
That's right.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, so much for listening to the show. Go play Pokemon if you haven't. I'm talking to you, Patrick. It's a really fun game. Don't listen to the haters. It's a lot of fun, and it's making me feel like a child again. I'm not sure what we're talking about next week, but it will be a good show. So make sure you tune in. We love you so much. We'll see you next week. Bye bye.